the reading of the adopted budget. And then you'll start with that, and then I'll say.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. He did.
Then we'll
And
vote,
she was
and
carrying
we'll
it through, and they
close
said,
it.
put them
Open
back.
the new meeting.
I asked her about that. She goes, I thought they just was wanting to sit there and I wanted to get it done. Yeah.
And then my cousin went to Bischoff yesterday and said it was
She told me your boss, and you told her she's not. I think you're your boss overnight.
Well, I told her, I said, don't forget I'm boss. And she said, don't forget boss backwards, double SOB. And I went, ouch, okay. She put me in my place. Let's do this. Is Mandy coming?
She's running a little late.
Okay. We gotta wait on her, wait on her.
Still 3 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, that's not, oh, it is 5:03.
Yeah, I caught one nice red.
It's 5:57, that's not real fast.
I threw everything at him. I jumped on the stuff for a while.
No, those real estate deals yet.
Little chargers and like,
Are those days gonna come back or they gone forever?
How's Andy doing? Okay, thanks.
I didn't do night crawlers.
I know what cattle meat prices to the roof. I don't know about the grain.
Corn and beans
Are they down?
Oh my, because China's not buying them, see, because of the tariff thing. And real estate, it's gonna start affecting real estate. Right now, they won't make any VA or USDA loans at all.
Really?
Won't make any because of that go. Getting people's attitudes and they just,
I know, I talked to Tim Hunt the other day, and the Crosby Bridge is scheduled to be refurbished, that's off the table now.
what is it now?
He said they cut the funding, and that's gone.
You guys missed last week, didn't you?
No, they lost their first two.
Yeah, they were gonna completely refurbish it, and all new rivets and stuff, and new planks, sandblast everything. And on the far side, you know where that, it's so hard to make that turn, they said they were gonna blast that bank and go about 20 foot up around like that.
You guys have been good, but it's just.
The approach
Really,
better,
that makes sense right now because that costs a lot of money and hardly anybody uses it.
really. Hunters, that's about it.
I used to drive there once in a while, but you're right, to make that turn is almost impossible.
Yeah, he had some stuff planned and he gave it to me.
We got one too many chair in this line, look at there, see,
Yeah.
we've got two,
Just roll one out over the side over there.
it's way too tight.
I want there's someone in here.
I have a black suit, I remember Monday night, I had to buy one. Still got it. It's too big for them, but I don't care. I can't afford to buy it, you ain't got money.
Oh my gosh. All right, I've heard it all now.
Dave, do whatever you're doing.
Jerry,
Did you hear that too, didn't you?
did you go to church Sunday?
Yes, sir, I
You
did.
go back.
You need to go back. You got church tomorrow night, don't you?
That's for forgiveness.
We're done here because Marcus is off because of spring break or fall break at Columbus.
Columbus, oh.
It's 6 o'clock on October the 14th, and I will open the portion of the meeting that has to do with reading the ordinance for the budget, to adopt the budget for 2026.
This is the reading of ordinance number 2025-09. Be it ordained, resolved by the James County Council that for the expenses of James County for the year ending December 31, 2026, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated and ordered, set apart out of the several funds herein named, and for the purposes herein specified, subject to the laws governing the same. Such sums herein appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year unless otherwise expressly stipulated and provided for by law. In addition, for the purposes of raising revenue to meet the necessary expenses of James County, the property tax levies and property tax rates as herein specified are included herein. Budget Form 4B for all funds must be completed and submitted in the manner described by the Department of Local Government Finance. This ordinance resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by the James County Council.
Council, please review the adopted budget, levy numbers, and let me know if you have any questions or concerns. If there are any no further comments, I would entertain a motion to suspend the rules and adopt the 2026 budget on the second reading.
Could, just for public information, could we just mention, the public can't read what we have, but the tax rate and the total budget and things like
If
this?
you want to do that, you can.
Well,
Dave?
I think just for the public, I have this sheet in front of me, but I think maybe for public information, it might be good just to read off, some points like the total budget, the projected tax rate, projected levy.
Okay.
Just for
I'm gonna let you
information.
follow that, Dave.
We read the top part of it. We didn't read
Correct.
figures on the sheet here. You want me to do it?
Yes, please.
Okay, I was waiting for you to do that.
No, I thought you had in mind what you wanted to do, so.
No, I just thought as president, maybe you would like to just.
Yep, nope, I'm gonna let you just
Let me-
follow
okay.
along that.
Okay, well, on this ordinance we have for the appropriation, for appropriation tax rates, I guess a couple of significant things. The adopted budget is listed as $24,298,404. The adopted tax levy is listed as $7,369,668. And the adopted tax rate, which would be the property tax rate, correct?
Correct.
Is .7427. So there's a breakdown by different categories of how all these totals are put together. But I think just for public information, I got to get this out so that people know this ordinance we're voting on, what these figures are. And I hope that's okay with everybody to do that.
Yep.
Does this show what the tax rate was last year,
I don't,
previous tax rate?
I
It
don't
does
know.
not.
It's
Not on our, not on the ordinance, it doesn't.
Is it an increase or decrease from last year's tax rate?
I'd have to go back and look.
Okay.
With that being said, are there any other comments or questions before we take a vote? Because we will close that part of the meeting and then we will open the monthly meeting after that.
Thank you.
So I've made a motion to suspend the rules and to adopt and to bypass the second reading, and I will need a second on that.
Second?
All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. The adopted budget for 2026. So I'm going to sign this and send it down. And this will need to go to the auditor. Okay. That being said, I need a motion to close this part of our meeting.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second?
All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. The portion of the budget is closed. We'll now open the monthly meeting with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for prayer.
Let's pray, please, bow your heads. Dear Father in heaven, thank you for this beautiful weather we've had here. We thank you for that. We thank you for this beautiful county that we live in, that you created, and all the people here, and we thank you for that. Lord, we are coming to an important part of our jobs by managing the finances of this county, of the people of this county, and the people that work for their living. But you provide all these things for us, Lord. We thank you for that. And Lord, we just ask a special blessing and help for, there are many in our county that are suffering now from certain health issues, and without naming everyone, you know who they are, Lord, and we just ask for your help and your Holy Spirit to bring healing to these people in our county as well. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dave.
That's a little bit.
18 is
Yes.
monitoring, isn't that supposed to be on, it's supposed to be on?
The monitor not supposed to be on.
No, that's all on one too.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
YouTube Live, it doesn't come up on there.
Okay, you should have the minutes in front of you, and you should have received them by email, so I will need a motion to accept the minutes as read.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Are there any corrections or any comments for the minutes? All those in favor? All opposed? I have two sets here.
One was from the joint session.
Okay, so I will need a motion to accept the minutes on the joint session with the commissioners. The joint executive session, those minutes should be in front of you as well.
It is okay.
Can you find those, Jean?
I don't think I have those minutes.
Are those not in there? Did you not include those in their packets?
I may have missed them. I don't think I put them in there because I made copies of them
Okay,
last week and I probably forgot to put them in there.
okay, I am going to pass these minutes down, they're not much. So if you were present, please look over those and see if you see any corrections, and if not, then we'll take a motion at that time. We'll give this back to you. Okay. My understanding is Alex typed those up and sent them.
The executive.
Dave, once you finish, we'll make a motion, and then I'll have a second, and then when we pass that back, I'll need everyone that was present at that meeting to sign.
He's done, I'll make a motion,
Okay,
accept him.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. All those in favor? All opposed? Okay, if you'll sign and send back, I'll get that back to Amy. Okay, Tina. You should have September's interest and charges in front of you, and you should have a treasurer's report.
Okay, on trust in the end, we made $87,322.97 for September. And then we had, I transferred $15,136.82 from general
Okay,
trust.
I see your year-to-date.
Read that year to date. We just want everybody to hear that.
$832,579.07.
That's
Thank you,
amazing.
thank you.
That's
Do
amazing.
you know what rate we're getting? I know they've lowered some of the others.
It's, for the month of September, is 4.17.
Do you know if it's,
It's went down.
yeah, I thought,
It's like 4.10.
okay. We'll just keep investing though,
Yeah,
making that
That's
work.
amazing, thank you.
Is
That's
there,
amazing.
so, what, I'm looking to see what we have, what's in those, both of those accounts. Is there anything that you see that you would like to transfer more, or you feel comfortable with that, or you're pretty set where we're at?
I'd like to transfer after, November.
Okay, yeah, the tax,
Yes.
yeah, I understand. Okay, well, we'll wait to hear from you in November then. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you,
Thank you,
Tina.
Tina.
Okay. That's all we have on that, so, I'll move on to new business. And you should have an invoice in your packet for Reedy. And this would have been for issues with the payroll. Was that dealing with that whole tax thing that things were messed up on?
That was, I had to call Caitlin to discuss how to correct a tax error on, a paycheck,
Okay,
because there was $2,000 withheld
yeah,
that shouldn't have been withheld.
okay.
Do you know what that was?
I don't, but
Okay.
we can discuss it. I mean, you know, I hate to discuss somebody's pay that,
We have to have a motion
to
approve the ordinance. You have to do that.
what do we have to do?
I think we missed something on that.
We just made a motion to, on the second reading, and then we'll,
I need to approve that ordinance.
okay, I'll come back to that. Right now, so it's 306.25 is the total?
Yeah,
I need a
tried-
motion to-
I tried to, get help with Lau first,
Uh-huh,
and the way,
Let me just explain it. So there was a 2,000, when someone put in and changed their information with HR, there was, information was put in at that time from HR that there was to have extra $2,000 taken out. That was not the intent, that was an error. And so HR contacted the individual, but then we had to work about changing how to reverse all of that.
Mhm,
And so there was a little bit of a complication with that. And so that's why we had to reach out to our resources to be able to do that.
okay. So I just need a motion to pay that invoice. Obviously, it was warranted.
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
I have a first and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Okay, and then we will come back to, I need another motion. So basically what we did, we suspended the rules for the passing of the budget, but then I need another motion to approve the ordinance for number 2025-09.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance. I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, the next thing that we have is payroll for the council. And so I think all I need is to sign this. I don't think we need a motion.
Yeah, you just need to sign
That's you up here.
right there.
Okay, and then, I'll give that back to you. There was also another, seems like another invoice in here. Anything else in there that we have? No, I guess not. Okay. All right, is there any other new business?
The only thing I think of is, we're gonna have Reedy input the salary ordinance.
Okay, we need to decide that.
We need to have a meeting to approve this.
Okay, so if everybody has their phone, we need to coordinate a meeting to discuss the salary ordinance, because as you know, the budget is not the binding contract, the salary ordinance is. So we need to adopt the salary ordinance by the first, Mike, is that what we decided?
Yeah.
And so we will need a meeting to discuss the salary ordinance, and there's some changes. Different departments have reached out to us, so we need to get that corrected so that we can adopt that corrected salary ordinance. What do you think of?
Can we do it a week from today?
Is required when to be here, I'll be out of state.
Will that give us enough? No.
Okay, I don't wanna mess everything up, so.
So the 21st,
It's not time to advertise.
we just have to advertise, we don't have to put it in the local paper, do we?
Depends on the time, because we have another business piece on the 21st.
State board,
Yeah, so.
You have what?
State board of
we have a
accounts
report out.
on the 21st also.
Yeah, so it depends on the time that you want to do that.
You want to do it during the day or evening, Mike?
If you do it in the afternoon.
I can make anything that day work. I don't know about everybody else.
Can most make it on the 21st?
Next Tuesday, daytime. Mandy? you-
Daytime, when? Daytime.
You want to do it in
the
the,
afternoon, is that what you said?
Afternoon.
so,
We have a regular meeting, say 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or
you want to do it at 6 o'clock
whatever you want to
in the evening?
There's a 7 o'clock meeting I have to be at.
do. It won't take a minute.
That's fine, then I'll be here at 6.
Okay, we'll say 6 o'clock.
September 21st?
Yes,
Okay. Here in this room?
to discuss the salary ordinance, and then we will have to adopt it by the, yes, in this room.
Okay.
And at this time, Dave, did you want to talk about in the new business?
Yes, if that's okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. I had an email from Nikki Lucas, our HR, and I think everyone in the council got this. It was sent out the first week or so of September, and it's an update on the balance of comp time claims for the county. And in this, I printed it out from my computer, but in this printout, there's 4,575 hours that is now on notice for us. $111,591, and around 176 employees that have put in requests for additional hourly rates and payouts, which is something that, we are going to have to look at. We have been working for quite a while as a county and as with the commissioners, and we've had work sessions on this about trying to get comp time and the amount of time over the regular workday under better control for a lot of reasons. We budget things. We have a budget that we try to stick with because that's what we have and that's what we intend to be able to work with our employees and with our expenses. Of course, there's always things that come up unexpectedly, but we try to pay the workers for a good, honest day's work, but then we don't want to have workers doing a lot more on time of their day than what they really have to. If it's an emergency, it's one thing, but if it's a normal day and you extend it by doing something you don't have to do a certain day, then we need to try to put a limit on that so we can manage the budget of our county, not only for the impact of our workers, but also for the county taxpayers. And so one of the things we talked about when we had a work session with the commissioners is to look at a possibility, and I don't know if this is the answer, it may be part of an answer, maybe something we at least need to look at, I feel, is to consider the possibility of some of our employees could be reclassified salary-wise from an hourly employee to a salaried employee. And the salaried employee would have a certain job to do. They would have a defined day by the master contract, which is the workers' handbook, but they would still have the responsibility of making sure their job is complete within that given time without being able to claim overtime or comp time and other things like this. And it's not that we don't want to pay people for the work, but we just, again, I personally have a difficulty with managing all the extra hours coming in, 4,575 hours, and that's 2.5 years, 2.25 years of work from a single employee. I mean, what are our employees doing above and beyond the normal workday that requires that many hours? I don't know, and maybe it's necessary, or maybe it's some is and some isn't, but I think we need to find a better way of making this a more efficient system. And I think what we need to do is gather information on how we might better make this a more efficient system, not only for our own management, but also for the taxpayers of James County. So I'd like to have the council consider doing something to gather more information about, number one, which people may be qualified to be switched to salaried, but there are certain qualifications that have to apply. Number two, what would be involved with that as far as salary ordinance and other things we have to do to pass legally? And number three, would that really be a benefit in the long run to us to do it that way? And these are things that we can't really answer off the top of our head. I think we need to have more in-depth investigation. To make any good decision, it's always good to have a lot of information, to have more information than what we have right now. And this is something we've already talked about. And this is something that's an ongoing concern. You know, we've already gone through several things with the Department of Labor, we've gone through the lawsuit, and, you know, this is still continuing to be something that we have to deal with. And maybe we'll have to continue to do this from now on, but we need to minimize the impact of what this does to our budget. We are responsible, as the state of Indiana statute says, gives us the authority statutorily to be the finance authority for the county. Yet we are not completely in control of what we have happening because some of the things in our employee system are going beyond our own control in managing the budget and managing how much money we spend. So I'm not complaining about anyone who does the work, because people need to be paid for the work. I appreciate that. And sometimes there's emergencies, I appreciate that. And certain departments have a lot more need for extra time because they have responsibilities that create emergencies or deal with public safety or whatever. So we've got to recognize that too. We're going to have to be doing that ongoing. But I think there's still a way to better managing our resources and better managing how we control our budget by at least gathering more information about this issue. And so I make a motion that we consider some way, either a study committee or executive sessions or something, that council would agree to participate, or some of us participate in just simply gathering information about this option of having more salary workers versus hourly workers. So I'm interested to hear what the rest of the council thinks, and I'm just one person. I've had dealings in other areas where I've worked. I worked for the school system 5 different times. I was on the bargaining team that developed the budget for the school employees, and I've gone through these issues before. I've gone through some of these issues at the state level with the state legislature, and it's a whole different ballgame. I mean, we're not the state, we're not the school, but some of these issues are similar in a way of how to manage, what we do with our employees, to pay them fairly, yet not to have more time being used than what is really necessary to do the job. So that's basically the question, and I'd like to hear from my fellow council members as to what your thoughts are on this. And if I'm the only one, that's okay. I don't mind speaking up. I think some of the rest of you also have concerns about this. I'd just like to hear from you what you think we should do.
I don't think you're the only one that's wanting to do something. I agree with you 100%. When I was on the school board, I was on that committee with the financing and how was working with the teachers union, and that takes a lot of work. And plus whoever heads us up, where I'm hoping it might be you, Dave, if you want to do that. But you going to have to work with the commissioners and convince them to, there's going to be a whole lot of work to it. But I support it 100%. I don't know how to go about it, Tina, what you're
Well,
thinking.
I know, Dave, that we kind of discussed this a little bit before the meeting.
Yeah.
And I would agree with what you said. The whole board is the financial officer of the county. But it would be really hard to get everyone at a meeting. So I would not be opposed to forming a committee and let that committee bring back information to the whole board.
So, yeah, okay, I'm okay with that too. I don't know about the rest, how they feel about it.
And I would definitely want to see at least one commissioner on that
Might be.
study board.
Do we want to go ahead and start that committee now? I didn't have it getting to work to where, with the goal being that changes could be made by next, budget season.
Correct, because once we adopt the salary ordinance, we will not be able to change those salaries until next year's budget, or that, how we characterize, whether they're salary or
Is that
hourly.
Is that factual? I mean, is that, because, we're not saying that with all respect, because I know you can change that.
You can change the salary ordinance, but I would think that it would be unfair to our employees to change midstream to say, this is what we told you were gonna get paid this year, and this is your paid time off, and now we're gonna say
No,
you are
I don't-
salaried.
I don't mean, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm
I
talking about.
realistically, I don't think we can do it for this year. I think we
The
need
comp
to
time.
start it for next year.
Oh, I'm saying though, once we adopt the salary ordinance, we would not change anybody's status
Right.
until next budget, is
Right.
what I was saying.
Right.
I'm talking about the comp
Yeah.
time.
The
Just-
comp time,
Just the comp time is what I'm talking about.
what was your question then about the
I
comp
want to
time?
know how do we limit the comp time? You know, we're, in our handbook, and I read it this morning, it says 80 hours.
I think we took that out of the handbook.
80.
It proved not very enforceable.
Yes, I think
Okay,
that
so-
when we
so
met in
that's what I'm-
executive session, that had already been
Be
taken
the
out
state.
because, yes,
Yeah, so I think that's what the committee should be working on, is how do we limit the comp time? And why are we using so much comp time?
Yeah.
I think what Dave's saying is that's a piece, right? You're
Yes,
saying
it's a
that's
piece.
of it,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
right? That's a piece.
that's a
of it.
piece of the
Okay.
study.
Yeah.
Besides looking at what positions could we maybe change to salary versus hourly.
Salary wouldn't get comp time.
Correct.
Salary wouldn't get overtime.
But I don't want that, going through this year, this next year, 2026, we don't want the same thing happening in 2026 that happened in 2025. So you gotta get a handle on that comp time starting now. The salary's not, you can't. I mean,
Right,
next
right.
year, I'm talking about the comp time part of it.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the study.
Yeah.
But you need to do that sooner than later.
Yeah.
I
We
would
need to get
agree.
started.
And so Dave C., are you willing to head that committee up? And do you want to pick your committee? Do you want people to volunteer?
I'd be willing to head it up. I'd like to have 2 other members from the council be on it. We can't have more than 3.
Correct. And you
And
can't
then
have more
a
than one
commissioner. And I'd also like to
commissioner.
ask Sarah to be on it and Nikki to be on it from Human Resources.
I think that would be, I think that would be a great collaboration
I'd like to
of,
see, I mean, I'd rather have somebody volunteer than, for me to pick somebody, I mean, I'd rather have somebody volunteer that would want to work on that. And, you know, we wouldn't have to have 3, I mean, we could have 1, I mean, but I'd rather have more than 1
I would agree.
on the, from the council to work with me, because I'm a rookie, I don't know all the things you guys
Right,
know.
right.
And you guys have a lot of experience and a lot of things you've gone through before, and it's always good to count on someone else's experience and knowledge when you go through something like this.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a lot of commitment.
It is.
A lot of commitment to do it correctly. If not, I mean, there's no sense doing it.
Mhm.
I mean, but I know that, yeah, that's gonna take a lot of time. And then, and getting your schedule with the commissioners and getting them locked down to where they
Mhm.
are getting involved.
We
in
just
it.
have to start somewhere, I would say.
I know.
And it's not that I would love to be on it, and I think my background with HR and my own business would help me. I just don't know with my mom's health, what I can commit to right now. I'll volunteer to do it, but I'm just gonna say, what, you know, my family situation's gonna have to come first.
Well, let's do
But I would
this.
be glad to be on it.
Okay, well,
Let's
I
do
gladly
this.
accept that give, you know, family always comes first, so I'd love to have you work.
Yes,
Because
I would
you
love,
know
I would
more about
love
it than I
to be
do.
able to come up with a
Dave,
solution.
I think you'd be good on it too.
Well, here's what I'll do. I'll back up Tina. If Tina,
If I can't be
If
there,
she
he'll be
can't
my
be there,
backup. So
'cause I'm
let's
busy.
see if one other
Okay,
person.
so at least
would-
2 of us there each meeting, I think would be good.
right, I can, if she can't be there, then I'll show up.
Does anybody else have an interest to work on
Anything
this?
else, would you rather do it
Amount
than?
of time.
It's gonna be very time.
It's gonna take a lot of
But
time.
I don't think we need a bunch of people on. I think you
Okay.
and Dave, and then I can help out and.
I'm retired, so I have more time than you guys would.
Oh.
I mean, I don't have a job right now except this,
Right,
so,
right.
and I don't
Let's
mind.
start there, and if we decide that that we would like to have more input, or that we're not getting as far along as what we would like to, then we can come back and add members to that.
I think doing 2
Maybe
gives
this have-
you flexibility to where you can maybe rotate the 3rd.
Yes,
That way the rest of the council's keeping
yes.
somewhat up to
And
date
then,
if you
Dave,
rotate.
I would like to see us next month, talk about what we're doing
Yes,
at our meeting
Yes.
to the council and
Okay.
inform them to say, we've met this many times, we're still gathering information, whatever the scenario is.
okay.
But please keep
And
us in
I
the
think
loop.
having a commissioner on,
Yes.
I think having Sarah and Nikki would be good too, the HR director and the auditor.
Just keep in mind though, when we're discussing salaries and changing things, we probably need to check with Alex of what needs to be an executive and what can be in public.
Right,
I don't want to cross any of those lines.
yeah. We wouldn't have to have a formal meeting if there's three or less, we wouldn't have a
Correct.
formal meeting. It would
Correct.
just be a private
But
meeting.
I mean, when we are giving information back to the council.
It's
Yeah,
just a caucus.
that's when we have to have a public meeting on, right.
Mhm.
Would it be okay to, I know that Sarah said she could get information on that, but would it be okay to, we talked with Reedy when Dave and Michael and I were there, they asked me to go to your place because you were gone.
Yeah.
The finance, we asked Reedy if they could get that, and they said they could. Would it be okay to go ahead and request that from them so they can kind of do some of that work for us too? I mean, we have a list of, we start out with
Yes.
a list of people that could be, then we can look at which ones we think should be, and kind of go from there. That would give us a lot of information to get a head start on the whole thing.
We have to give them the freedom to talk to our financial guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, we wouldn't be careful run a ton of hours either.
Well, he'll
Mickey
be,
Mouse stuff.
right,
Don't
right.
watch that because
You
those
just
guys
got,
charge
right, a lot of money.
a lot of money for silly phone calls sometimes.
It'll be a special project, and I would just maybe gather information, Dave, with them to say, what do you think that will cost us, and bring that information back next month to the
Yeah,
council.
don't give them a green light to go
Okay.
all wild.
Okay?
Depends
So
on
do I
what
have,
you
I have
get.
permission from the council
Right,
to
Caitlin, it's gonna be
to do that
cheaper,
then?
right,
make the request from them? Do I have permission from the council to do that?
yes.
Do we take a vote on that?
I'll make a motion to approve
I'll
that.
second for Dave.
So I have a motion to give Dave C. permission to engage with Reedy about a proposal on what the cost would be to access information on whether we make an employee salaried or hourly.
Okay.
And I have a second.
Okay,
Is there
before we
any other
vote,
discussion?
Should that deal with how much it would cost them to do the work, or
I would,
should we get
I
an estimate from them first before we request it?
would, I
Yeah,
Get
would.
an estimate first and then come back and do it?
Yes, that's
Okay,
what,
this is just getting an estimate.
we're
From
just
them,
giving
how
an
much it
estimate.
costs.
Okay, I just want to make
Yes.
sure, make
Yes.
sure it's clear about that, okay.
Budget number, once they give it to us, because he's gonna be working with them throughout the year, somebody is.
Okay, so,
And so once you get to, you meet that budget number, then you'd have to come back to the council saying, we might have to have a little bit more money. So we know, so we're tracking it.
Dave, can you speak it just a little bit
No,
louder
not
of that? Okay. He would like to see us have a budget number from them, and then when we reach that amount, then we come back to the council and say, we've reached this, but we still need more information, and we're gonna need to vote on that again. Because we just don't want it to be open-ended.
Yeah, we don't want to be open-ended. So,
Did
Is
I
there a
say
certain
that
amount we
correctly,
want-
Dave?
is there a certain amount we want to start out with?
I wanna see what they
Get it
say.
from them.
if they-
Get an estimate from them first,
Please.
and then see how far we want to go into that, how much we can get, and then we'll have a stop.
Yeah,
Decide
we
where
just
we're
said, we
gonna
don't wanna
go
spend over this amount. I mean, the
Well-
council may say that next month.
Right, but we might want to inflate that number a little bit.
Like later.
Like, yeah,
But at least we have a starting point
Yeah.
of what they say it would cost to get that information. We could say, well, instead of getting all that, how much can we get for this amount?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get started.
So I have a first and a second. Any more discussion?
I want to say, I don't like this, the way the comp time's handled. I think it's up to department heads, and Dave can have all the meetings he wants, but it ain't gonna change nothing. So I'm gonna vote against it, because I don't think it's gonna do any good, because the department heads are not.
I would agree
we're
with you,
getting
Jared.
hosed
We've
real
been
bad.
hammering on it for over a year.
We've talked about it a lot. We've been getting hosed real bad, because people go 15 minutes early or late, and they get a comp time, which is a ripoff. I definitely think that's not gonna do any good, except waste a lot of time.
well, but Jerry,
If we can move the salary, it'd avoid a lot.
but I'm not disagreeing, the
You
way I
can just
understand it,
do it.
it ain't gonna do any good. But it's not, it sounds like that, but we gotta research it, we gotta find out exactly what we can do. Instead of hearsay here, hearsay there, I wanna see something in black and white, exactly what we can do or what we can't do.
Because if you remember, when we met in executive session, we did have some of those questions, and what the criteria to make someone salary. You just can't say you're salaried.
Well,
There's
I
the
understand
criteria.
that.
But I would agree with you,
Yeah.
Jerry, and here I want the public to know, because we are getting hammered about it. Once that time has been accumulated, we don't have a choice but to pay it. And every department head is an elected official, and they're over their office, and we're not over an elected official.
But we're over the budget, Tim.
We are over the budget, but the Department of Labor says if they work it, you've got to pay it, so.
But there are still consequences to it, and there are consequences to, an unlawful order.
There is.
If you got a department head, and a department head in policy, it says you can't go over these hours, and that worker knows it, and the department head tells her to do it anyway, that's an unlawful order from that department head.
I would agree.
So there's consequences to that, so that's where Dave's saying, that's where the commissioners comes in, and they hold their feet to the fire, or they don't.
Right, but it's out of our control.
Exactly.
But it is out of our control, and that's what Jerry's
If
saying.
an employee works, it's not fair not to pay him.
That's
Well,
correct.
exactly, you're right.
That's correct. So,
You gotta pay.
and it's, so it's taking it out of our hands, because if that employee works and that department head has told them to, we have no choice but to pay it.
So you can have all the meetings you want, but if the department heads don't do what they're supposed to do, then it don't matter what we say.
Well, at the budget time it does, because budget time, you can hold them accountable.
We say that, but we don't.
Well, I agree, we should.
Jerry, if I could mention a couple of things. What you're saying means we try so far and still not under control. That's true. But if we don't do anything, it's not going to change anything anyway. We can either go on like we are and just kind of, take it and go on and not do anything, or we can try to do something else. I'm using school system because I have this experience with it. What the school system did with their department heads, they gave them directions from, like, the superintendent would be comparable to the commissioners. The employee handbook is comparable to the master contract. So what's in there is what the guidelines are you work with, and you have to follow those guidelines. They also had, by ordinance, the school board passed an ordinance that said that any employee that did not follow directions could be disciplined as an employee for 3 things. And this is state law, you can do this.
Exactly.
Insubordination, immorality, or incompetence. Those are 3 things that an employee can be disciplined for. So any employee that would violate that, if the commissioners would put that in the handbook, anyone that would, if they were given an order by a department head, don't get overtime unless you get permission first, and they do it anyway, they could be disciplined as an employee. If that's already in the master contract, the handbook,
Correct.
and that
Correct.
ordinance has been passed by the commissioners.
It's
But
a
if we don't
street.
have we've got to have some basis legally to be able to do that. We can't just tell them to do that, and they say, well, we don't have to do what you say because you have no authority. Well, we
Correct.
don't have any authority unless we have it in writing in an ordinance or in the employee handbook. And those are the ways you do it. You have to have something in writing to back up what you have in your system. We have financial authority, the commissioners have employee authority. Technically, the commissioners, even though elected officials pick the people, the commissioners actually hire those
That's
people.
correct.
And they're
They're employed by the county of Jennings County, not the elected
not
official.
elected official. So the commissioners would have authority to discipline that employee for not doing a directive. And when you give an order like that, you can't say, well, I wish you wouldn't do this. You got to say, you are directed not to have any employee do overtime unless further prior
Authorization.
Yeah,
Prior,
When you give a
an
directive-
additional appropriation.
Yeah, and you give a directive, it's not like saying, well, I hope you do it. When you give a directive, that employee has to follow that on consequence of being disciplined as an employee if they don't, because that's insubordination. And we have to get this all set up in that way to be able to do something effectively, because the people elected us to manage their money.
That's correct.
And it's taxpayer money that if it's necessary, well, let's pay it. If we have an emergency, we gotta pay the people for doing the work. But if it's not, and people are just doing this because they want extra money or whatever reason, we have a responsibility to ourselves, but mainly to our taxpayers.
If you got a first and a second, you need to vote.
Well, I always have to call for discussion. So we do have a first and a second. Any more discussion?
There's gonna be a lot.
All those in favor? All opposed? So Dave, it will be you, myself, and Dave will be my backup, and then you'll get a commissioner, and then the auditor and HR. correct?
Yes,
Okay,
uh-huh.
okay.
Okay.
Is there any other,
You know, I thought was interesting what Mike said a minute ago, you know, like even any board member, like if you couldn't be there, you could almost ask any board member to say, could you step in?
Step in.
If I got
Okay.
that. And I think it'd be really pretty good.
yeah, it is, because it'll give us a rotation.
Spread out.
Anybody but Jerry?
Anybody-
Yeah, anybody can be there, so we don't have more than 3 at a
Jerry's
meeting.
the first
Really.
He's the first person we're asking one.
If Jerry shows up, we know we're in trouble.
Okay, so, the next, on new business, we need to discuss having Reedy do the salary ordinance. So I think they quoted you 2,500, Mike?
I think it was up to 1250, I think.
No, 12.
1,250?
And there was a question about that, because last year, when we were doing the salary ordinance, there was discussion about what needed to go in there, because we wanted to make sure that whether there was 26 pays or 27 pays, it wouldn't matter. And so Alex worked on some language in there, and so did Reedy. And we did the salary ordinance last year. This is due on the 1st of November, and I think as far as when you all are getting together next week, I don't know if you're planning on voting on that now or.
Yeah, we'll vote as a board right now. Because we won't be able to vote next week.
I'm gonna make a motion to let Reedy do the salary ordinance
At
I think I
12.
was thinking 1250.
Okay. I have a motion to let Reedy do the salary ordinance. I will need a second. I have a second. Is there any discussion about that? I know that you all discussed that in your finance committee with them, when you met with them, and I appreciate you covering that for me. All those in favor of Reedy? All opposed? Also, I received a text from Alex that says, it is in the handbook that you can be disciplined for insubordination and et cetera. It's already in the handbook.
Okay,
So we just need to utilize that,
yeah.
it sounds like.
Well, we wouldn't do it, but the commit back to. what-
Commissioners would do that, yeah. we
Right,
would.
and so that's just one of those things that you're gathering information, so that needs to be communicated to the commissioners that they do have the authority.
Yes.
So, is there any other new business or old business that we need to discuss?
One other question about this, what did he, I guess I'll talk to the commissioners, see which one, but do we have any one that we think would be better than others, or does it
It's
matter?
just gonna be who's available.
Just
I
who's
know,
available.
like Charlie,
Any
if you
preference
meet
from
during the day, he now has a job.
Who does?
Charlie St. John
Oh,
now
really?
works for someone else. When he
Okay.
first came on, he owned his own business and was a little bit more flexible. He doesn't have that as much.
Okay,
So it's just gonna be probably the time of day you're meeting and who's available.
okay, all right.
Anything else, Dave?
No.
No? Anything else? Anybody else got anything? All right, I'll need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved?
A second? All in favor? Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.